What's cooking, guys? Welcome back to another exciting episode of A la Carte with Alex, where I am helping you cook up quick, easy, and delicious food one plate at a time. And today we're getting into the holidays. You're probably looking for either treats to give out, you're looking for treats yourself, or you're looking for I don't want to say inexpensive gifts to give your friends. But today we're going to be making Christmas sugar cookies with a Royal Icing frosting. They're super delicious, they're so easy, and they impress friends. Like, they're gonna feel so loved when you hand them from scratch cookies, as opposed to going to the store, buying some, or paying to have them made for you. Trust me, they're gonna really impress your friends and family, and you're gonna save a little bit of money at the same time. So let's get cooking. Perfect. Now we're ready to get started on our cookie dough mixture. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to work in there's going to be three different sections that we're going to work in. We're going to work with our butter and our sugar. We're going to have our dried goods, and then we're going to have our wet goods. So we're going to go ahead and we are going to add our butter to the bowl. This one I kind of melted a little bit because it was still really cold, and I warmed it up just a tiny bit, maybe a bit too much. You just want to make sure that it's room temperature and softened. You don't need it to be liquidy. That's actually not what you want. So I think it's a little warm in my apartment for our butter. But you know, we're going to make do. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to take our extremely softened butter. We're going to take our full cup of sugar, and we're going to go ahead and add that in. We're going to cream this butter. What that's going to do is it's going to take all these sugar crystals, it's going to punch into that butter, and it's just going to make our cookies light and fluffy and just amazingly delicious. Plus, who doesn't love sugared butter? And we're going to beat these with this beater, and we're going to do this until it's a nice light a nice light yellow color. So now that we have that creamed, we are going to combine our dry ingredients, which consist of 3 cups all-purpose flour, about 1/4 teaspoon, or it's teaspoon not tablespoon, of salt, 3/4 teaspoon of baking soda. Oh wait, baking soda, hang on, that doesn't seem right. Make sure you do not use baking soda. You're gonna want baking powder. That's a huge difference. Baking powder, 3/4 baking powder. We're gonna go ahead and we're going to bring together our wet ingredients. So in a little container, we're gonna add a full teaspoon of vanilla extract. Make sure that that is pure vanilla extract, not vanilla flavor. I'm gonna crack 1 whole egg, yolk and white included. There we go. And 1 tablespoon of milk. I like to use nice whole milk, and whisked to combine. Bring back our butter and sugar mixture. We're going to go ahead and on very low, we're going to go ahead and we're going to add in our liquid. And then after that's done mixing, we're going to go ahead and we're going to mix in our dry ingredients extremely slowly, guys. So drop that down to its lowest setting, and then ever so gently sprinkle in a little bit of flour at a time, and just incorporate that. If you have a stand mixer, even better. If you have this hand mixer like I do, just go ahead and once all the fluff is gone, go ahead and add some more. And just continue until it's fully incorporated. Don't be afraid to get your hands in here and just make sure that all of that comes together. Go ahead and work it out on your clean bench. And we're not going to need this. We're just going to make sure that it comes together properly. And then we're going to portion it out and we're going to cool it down, because right now that is feeling quite warm from being mixed. So I'm going to grab some plastic wrap, portion it out. So let's take, there we go. It's about half. Yeah, that'll be good. Take that, we're going to wrap that up, and then we're going to toss it in the fridge. Okay, and to make this easier later on, we're going to try and flatten this into a rectangular shape. And it doesn't have to be exact, but just try to get it as even and as rectangular as possible right now. Wrap that up. There we go. Okay, there we go. Plop that in the middle. Cover that and rectangle. To make it easier to store in the fridge, we're going to take a cookie sheet, and it doesn't need to be lined with anything. It's going to go in the fridge. So just put that in there and then let these cool for about 2 hours before we roll out. After the 2 hours, we're going to roll these out and cookiefy them, and I will show you that. So let's just fast forward to that right. Now that we are done with our nap, we are ready to roll out our now hard dough. So we're gonna go ahead and start rolling that out just one sheet at a time. You can keep the other one in the fridge until you're ready to roll it out. So we're gonna take some of our little dusting items here. Now this isn't flour because that might make our cookies a little too gummy. What we're gonna do is we're actually going to use powdered sugar, so it's gonna be even more delicious to roll this out. But yeah, dust it down with some sugar so it doesn't stick. It doesn't stick to your rolling pin. If you want to use little dividers to kind of even this out, you can. I like to just kind of eyeball it and do it about I'd say about a quarter of an inch, maybe a little bit thicker depending on how you like your cookies in thickness. And just kind of slowly roll it up. Be careful not to do it too thin like I just did here, because it'll start to crack and break. So just slowly work that out, and if it starts to get too warm, if your dough starts to warm up too much, go ahead and pop it back in the fridge for a little bit. And don't worry if this isn't perfectly rectangular. You don't want it to be circular. You just want it flat enough and have enough surface space for your cookie cutters, which we're going to take. We can lay them down ahead of time. You can go ahead and cut those shapes out. You can kind of work around them. Go, and then when you press, just press straight down all the way. Just give it a slight jiggle. You're not going to twist, just a little jiggle. Pull straight up and then continue on. I always like cookie cutters that have shapes that work all year round. Granted, I know I have a tree here, but you can use that for autumn. Little gingerbread men you can use all year round. Snowflakes are great for birthdays or any wintertime cookies. And then just continue around cutting and finding placement for your shapes that you think will work without overlapping a lot. Once these are ready to go, go ahead and take them and add them to your non-stick pan, either with parchment paper, not wax paper, either parchment paper or a silicone mat like I have. Let's go ahead and transfer those. And then, did I already mention to make sure that your oven's preheated to 375? I honestly can't remember if I told you guys to make sure. Christmas cookies. Where's the Christmas cookies? Where's the Christmas cookies? Oh yeah, don't forget to set your time or your kitchen. What's that thing? You know, the oven. There you go. Don't forget to set the oven to 375 before your nap. So go ahead and do that if you haven't already. Okay, so I will see you guys at the end after we're done cutting these out and our cookies are baked. You're gonna toss them in that 375 degree oven for about 5 to 10 minutes. Go ahead and check on them constantly, making sure that they're becoming nice and golden brown on top, but not burning around the edges. So I will see you guys after these are done baking. So I know I said that we were gonna bake our cookies and then we're gonna frost them, but I was so busy fiddling around with my camera that I accidentally left my cookies in the oven a little bit too long, and they kind of came out a charred mess. I mean, don't worry, I handled it like a champ. Ooh, broken cookie. But let's not go into that right now. But anyway, so I went ahead and I made another batch of cookie dough, and I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna roll this out just like last time, and I'm going to cut them out and I'm going to rebake them, and I'm going to watch them like a hawk this time. So with these cookies, since they take such a short amount of time to bake, it's just a nice little reminder that don't leave your cookies unguarded, and don't walk away for more than a couple minutes, or set up a nice handy reminder. That was probably a better idea than me just walking away and thinking I got this covered. But yeah, we're gonna roll this out again, and then we will cut and we will bake. Now transfer your cookies onto a wire cooling rack. So here comes the sweetest part of our cookies. We're going to make a royal icing that's really simple. There's recipes that have like, I believe it's like a meringue powder, meringue? Anyway, there's like a powder that you can use. I personally like using more natural ingredients when I can, and stuff that I don't have to buy that's specialty. So with this one, we have 2 egg whites that have been separated, put in here. And then we have about 3 cups of confectioner's sugar or powdered sugar. If you're doing a lot of cookies, just double the recipe. This is a great way to start. It doesn't overwhelm you with it. You really don't need a lot of liquid for powdered sugar. It will absorb all of that and turn into a nice icing. Trust me, it'll be tasty and delicious. And if you're worried about the egg whites and the salmonella or anything else that might come with it, go ahead and buy the store-bought egg whites, especially if you're gonna be doing a lot of this. They're already pasteurized, you don't have to worry about it. Buy pasteurized eggs, or just buy fresh eggs, nice and tasty. You know, there's a little bit of risk with that, so please know that. But you know, there's ways around it if you're really that worried about it. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna whip this up, and then we're gonna slowly add in our powdered sugar. Very gentle with it, just a little bit at a time. Okay, so there we go. So that's kind of the consistency that we're looking for. It's that nice ribbony goodness. We'll take that. And let's get our cool down cookies. Now remember, you have to let the cookies cool completely. If they're still warm or they're still hot, this icing will melt and will run off of those cookies. So you need to make sure that they are nice and cool. I sometimes like to let them sit for about 24 hours before even diving into this. So just remember, make sure they're cool. So with making cookies, you have your cookie cutter ones that are out. But the nice thing is that when you start running out, instead of mixing them all together and trying to squeeze every last cookie, cutter shape out, I like to play around with the shapes. You get a nice little ovals that you can make and make nice designs on this one. You can make this into like a wreath, for instance, and then you can kind of play around with shapes as they kind of start form. So like this part was part of a tree that was cut out, and I kind of mixed it with another piece, and it almost kind of looks like a squirrel. So kind of play around with that a little bit. Made a nice little surfboard that was a little too thin, so it started to get real nice dark brown. You can just kind of play around with shapes, and it's fun. Where's another one I had? There we go. Here we go. Yeah, so this one kind of almost looks like a unicorn. So you can kind of decorate these in any way, and it's a nice way so you don't have really tough cookies, and it's kind of stretches your creativity just a tiny bit. But let's go ahead and we're going to decorate. Let's see, let's take a tree. Let's take a nice snowflake and a gingerbread. There we go. Let's decorate those ones. If you want to just go real simple, what you can do is you can take your nice cool down cookie, and instead of having to go around and trace, what you can do is you can actually just dip your cookie directly into the icing. Make sure to get it nice and drained off. Let the icing run, and then you can just transfer that to a wire rack for decorating, and then you have a very simple one. If you want to get a full sheet of coverage, you can just do that. You can just dip, and then that's when you can start adding your intricate designs. So let's go ahead and try our piping bag method. We're going to take some of this, and I'm going to add it to our green, so we get a nice green colors to work with for our trees. Take a whisk or fork and mix that up. Okay, so if this works the way I want it to, the nice part is that this icing will be in a nice storage bag. It'll be nice and closed, so there's no spillage. And let's just hope it works out the way I want it to. We'll try it on the snowflake, so we can get a nice piping going. Hey, that's working out pretty good. You know, if as long as this doesn't split on me, I think we got something, guys. Alright, so little tip. I heard from another icing master, baker. If you do the outside, it'll be very easy to fill in the other side when you're doing this because it won't spill out, so you can kind of go a little bit easier, a little bit more crazy on the middle part when you're doing this. So you can kind of go in here, and it should just fill it in nicely as long as you don't go over the edges like I do. But this is great because you get a little bit of a snowflake shape when you do that, but you can see it's kind of spreading a little bit easier. Okay, so that worked out great. Awesome. Perfect. I'm going to save that and make that a common thing I'm going to do. Okay, so we have our regular icing in a regular bag with no tip. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off the smallest little bit here at the edge. I'm going to let my icing drip all the way down. There we go. It's a little bit blobbier than our piping tool. So this one might not be as clean as the other one. But you know what? Sometimes messy is just as good. There we go. And since I made this one, I'm going to take a knife and I'm just going to gently smooth out the sides. Try to get that icing to kind of cover everything. There we go. And I'm not a fancy baker at all, but man, these cookies are going to be super tasty and people are going to love them. So, you know, have fun with it. That's what this thing's all about, right? We're just having fun in the kitchen making cookies. And then let's go back to our little guy here and let's give him some pants. It's getting cold outside. Let's make sure he's nice and warm. There we go. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take the tiniest little cut off of that. Let's give him some green shoes. He's going to be an elf. Let's make some green shoes. Some green shoes and give him some little green gloves. Since he's an elf, let's give him a little elf hat. Boom. There we go. It's kind of like a little workout band. There we go. Nice. Look at that. Look at that little guy. Looks super happy. I like it. So what's great about these Christmas cookies is that you can decorate them however you want. You can take sprinkles, you can take more frosting, different colors. You can take crushed up candy cane and just sprinkle it right over the top of your cookies. And then you got a little bit of a peppermint flavor that's kind of going on. So you can really just have fun with these cookies and just do them however you want, whatever you guys like, whatever kind of flavors you like. Just go ahead and add those in. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take one of these bad boys and I'm going to enjoy. Oh yeah. That's a good cookie. Okay, so that's all the time I have for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video and you learned something, go ahead, hit that like button, leave a comment down below. Make sure you subscribe so you're never missing out. I'm going to take my little gingerbread guy here. I'm going to enjoy, and I'm going to get ready for the holidays. So I'm going to go finish decorating all those cookies, and I'm going to pass them out to my friends, and I'm going to impress the heck out of them. So I'm going to take this guy, and I'm going to enjoy. I'll see you guys later. Make sure that you're staying full and staying healthy.